did not come that far, I was introducing the title of this Annex 68 project, Indoor Air Quality Design and Control in Low Energy Residential Buildings. And I'm the so-called operating agent, so the project leader for this international collaboration. And this webinar is very much in conjunction with one of the topics of our project. So therefore, I'll just spend a few slides just to introduce what the overall project is about before leaving the words to our three presenters for the rest of the webinar here. Just a little bit about the background for the project. That is, when we have modern buildings, we have for many years been improving the energy performance by adding more insulation. So we've done this quite a lot. So in order to improve further and to reduce further the energy consumption in such buildings, then also we need to look also to the energy use in conjunction with ventilation. So that's where we put some focus. But if there's a risk that we will have less ventilation, it can lead to serious problems in terms of pollutants indoors if we don't get that removal of the air. So how can we both make energy efficient buildings and, on the other hand, provide a proper or comfortable indoor environment? Is there some kind of a mismatch between the intentions of energy efficiency and good indoor air quality? Do we have enough knowledge to make this optimization? So our mission is to look to all these fantastic energy efficient buildings, being passive P buildings or active houses with the A, zero energy buildings or plus energy buildings, whatever you have it. But with a basis on this ambition, then we should look to part of those buildings. We have a focus on residential buildings for which we need to make this optimization as we are working with. So as a project, we have several subtasks, and we actually have the first one was where we defined the metrics, we called it. So that was to look to what are the criteria and the limits for those things we should be cautious about, particularly with regards to pollutions. And we have already completed that first subtask, and you see on the right-hand part of the screen the title page of the report that we made last year. Another subtask looks more to the chemical issues, the emissions of potential pollutants from, for instance, materials or inventory you may have in your buildings. And that has been done also for quite a while by many research groups, but we are identifying gaps of knowledge. So for instance, interactions with thermal and moisture conditions in such materials. Also, in terms of modeling, we have a subtask that we should be able to put this into our computer models. We have a lot of computer models for buildings, so we should not reinvent the wheel, but we identify gaps. That means that we can put in the new knowledge looking to the pollutants also in such simulation models for whole buildings. So what's very much a focus is to, of course, not only to do research, but to make this operational. So therefore, a subtask is dealing with strategies, how to design and to govern or to direct operation of buildings, residential buildings, of course. And finally, we have a subtask that deals with field measurements and case studies as we are collecting in our project. And it's the last two subtasks here which are really the background for this webinar as we are having this afternoon here. So they are at focus somehow. I just wanted to show that there are quite a number of contributors to our project. So here's a list of countries, 14 countries altogether, and we are representing almost 25 institutions that contribute from those countries to our research project. Also, very briefly on the timeline, we began our project in 2015 to prepare it. We have been operational in our so-called working phase for a little more than 2.5 years. We will complete in less than 1 year from now, and then we will do the reporting for yet another small year, we suppose. So by the middle of 2020, it will all be over, and we'll have our reports. A little bit for today, I've just copied some text from the program here. So these metal oxide semiconductor sensors, they gain increasing attention, I just read it out here, in the ventilation community because of their low price and claimed ability to supplement or even to substitute CO2 sensors for demand control of ventilation, of course. So even though there are many IEQ meters that are available on the market, the amount of scientific studies focused on their reliability and applicability is still somewhat limited. So in the webinar today, some of our good participants in the Annex 6A projects will present research results, experiences, and further some thoughts about that are related to the MOS VOC sensors. So the aim of this webinar today is that we should come with some discussion on the topic of low-cost sensors in the ventilation community. And we have three main presentations here. So after these introductions here, we have a senior consultant from the Danish Technological Institute, Nadia Lynge, who will talk about if the TVOC sensors can be used for ventilation control. Second, today we have Associate Professor Jakob Kollarik here from the Technical University of Denmark, where I'm also coming from. Is the MOS VOC sensors about their properties and suitability for demand control ventilation analysis based on laboratory measurements. Finally today, Jelle Laverge, Assistant Professor in Ghent University in Belgium, will talk about VOC sensors versus CO2 control, demand control ventilation based on a case study. Each of these three main presentations are planned to be for 20 minutes, but we will have, in between, we'll have 5 minutes for a question and answering session, and that will be governed by Valérie Laprince from INIVE, where she's a consultant, and she will guide us through those 3 times 5 minutes questions. And in the end of today, we hope to end by 4:30. There will also be yet another 5 minutes for some extra questions to close the whole seminar. So with that explanation about the context, I will leave the word over to Nadia to talk about if the TVOC sensors can be used for ventilation control. So Nadia, please.